Welcome, boys and girls, to another episode of The Carnal Conservative, where we are continuing our exploration on true conservatism. Please see the other videos before you watch this one, because if you don't, this segment is not going to make a lot of sense, because it's going to rub a lot of you the wrong way, and a lot of you are not going to like it. In fact, most midwits are going to kick against this furiously. In fact, I can already hear reeing in the comments. Even just recording it will have is having this effect. Mystery number 4: true conservatism is not individualistic. True conservatism does not care nor consider the individual. The individual alone is a worthless peon against the forces of this world. There is both power and safety in numbers against both nature and man. And anyone who calls themselves a true conservative must come to terms with that reality. The reality, folks, here is that there is nothing about the forces of family and food that incentivizes or glorifies a lone individual. On the contrary, they both encourage and necessitate the building of families and communities. Individualism as a principle is an optimization that has served us well, but true conservatives must be wary of liberal voices warning against so-called populist collectivism and its alleged lack of principle. True conservatives should always be actively engaged in forming, nourishing, and expanding their collectives. That said, there is a caveat here. The attitude of true conservatives and collectives should be formed similar to the family. For the family is not just the communist, Marxist, socialist, we, in air quotes, but it is far more often mine, my country, my nation, my faith, my community. We need to treat our collectives with direct personal ownership, because when we do so, their influence and their effect and our give a shit about them tends to be far greater. And that is why, in our modern day, individualism as a principle has been largely accepted as an optimization upon our society for this reason. When you take individual responsibility for something, you make damn sure it succeeds, because it's a reflection on you. Now, that is a good thing, and it needs to be encouraged. But when we say true conservatism is not individualistic, it is not to negate that reality or ethos. You should still give a damn. You should not be falling into the communist socialist notions of we, us, or our collective, we the people. A true conservative should be approaching collectivism from a invested point of mind. You should always look at the collective as something that you personally own and are invested in, because that's the best way for them to succeed. And I don't know what else to say concerning principles other than what's already been said. You are bound as a true conservative to honor the forces of family and food. Nothing else. Any principles that might trickle down from our institutions to support that are all well, good, and fine for the most part. But you're not bound by them particularly. And you need to make every effort to ensure that you are doing everything you can to make sure that conservatism has a voice in the future. Therefore, we must come to terms with the reality that individualism as a principle is something that we don't have to cuck ourselves to. Individualism is not something that you have to be broken over by the waves of degenerates. You are allowed to stand shoulder to shoulder with your fellow conservatives, whatever stripe, and fight. Because the implication that you shouldn't or can't based on principle is absolutely cucked and degenerate. As always, guys, stay carnal and God bless.